because of all the big news I have for you guys today, my drink in this video is dedicated to Rachel over at Rachel's Reading Nook. She's also from the US and she moved abroad. She really misses Dutch Bros, so I'm having her favorite. I also have to enjoy these while I still can. More on that in a little bit. Boy, do I have a lot to share today. I'm sure you can see all these boxes surrounding me. Forgive the mess. I am in the midst of moving and also giving away a lot of my books. Yes, a true tragedy. Seeing as we're already halfway done with 2023, which is insane in the membrane. I had no idea that a lot of booktubers actually do the mid-year freakout tag. So I have to thank Autumn at Nose in a Book because she suggested I do this freakout tag. I'm actually really surprised that I have so many freaking favorites. I thought it would take a lot longer to actually find a favorite because the beginning of the year was a little it wasn't I tried new genres like romance and thriller at the beginning of the year and I did challenges on those. I didn't necessarily find my ultimate most favorite thing ever because I primarily love fantasy. Big surprise, a lot of the books I'm going to be talking about today are fantasy. I am moving abroad and it's a whole journey. I just cannot believe I'm going through this in my life right now and this is what's happening. I can't say I'm upset about it. I am super happy, but I am really sad to leave behind so many amazing friends I've made in this city and the community I've built here. If you're in the midst of something, whether that's healing, growing, the happiest time in your life, I would just say really enjoy it. A lot of things have changed in my life the last few months and I'm not going to get super into it. All I can say about it though is that it's really not bad. It's nothing horrible that happened in my life. It's actually an unexpected blessing, I guess you could say. Those changes gave me the window and opportunity to go live in Italy for a few months and I'm super freaking excited about that. Like, first of all, who wouldn't want to live in Italy? You'd be crazy. Delicious food at every turn. You're also so close to so many different countries to travel. Let's just take a quick 20 euro EasyJet ticket over, hold on to the wing, make it to that other country. I am so excited. I really wanted to join all of these different elements, as you've seen, like doing my makeup, fun drinks, travel, and I still want to do more book to screen adaptations. I know I haven't made one of those for a while and forgive me, I'm still learning, I'm still a noob. I usually do a really big trip once a year and just hit up all these different places and that's that, and that's what I expected with this channel. But I'm so freaking excited, y'all, to actually go travel for a few months. There will also be a lot of new things coming to this channel in the next couple of months. So not only travel vlogs and all these bookish places, but collaborations coming soon that I'm really excited about. And I can't wait to bring that on this channel so that we connect more. I love community. I've loved the community I made on Instagram and some of you guys have found me over there. But I want to build community with all of you who are watching, who choose to click into my videos, but are maybe too shy to comment or you don't really like using Instagram. I want to make sure we're building community on here and get to connect. So I'm very excited about those collaborations that are coming soon. I can't believe it. I am going to be leaving by the end of this month. I love doing this for you all. I want to make sure I'm entertaining you, connecting with you, recommending you things that I am absolutely passionate about. And if you've been enjoying this channel or this video, make sure you hit subscribe. I love doing all of this for you and it's just so nice to see that other people are really connecting with the content as well. That's the really big news and what's coming up on this channel. Doing my best to not pack every single book on my TBR in my luggage. Books are freaking heavy, especially if you are a hardcover girl like I am. Yeah, you know you're gonna come back with a lot of books. And I will be selling some books as well, so you can check out my Pango books. I made one. I am gonna have someone who's gonna help with the shipping and just pack those up, so you don't have to worry like, Joanna, aren't you gonna be all the way across the ocean? How are you gonna ship me my book? Don't worry. On to the mid-year freakout tag. All right, let me just tell you something. I did my absolute best to not repeat books in this tag, okay? That was really hard because in the last 2 months I have read incredible books, like seriously incredible books. I've been having such a great reading month and that really surprised me because all of my anticipated releases don't come out until the fall/winter. That being said, this freakout tag was a bit challenging because I am in denial about the first question, which is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2023? And I seriously didn't want to answer. I didn't want to answer because one, I wanted to save this answer for a different question, and two, I'm just in denial. I'm shocked. I'm in disbelief. I'm deceased. I cannot believe this is my answer so far. The best book I read so far is actually A Court of Mist and Fury. Oh my god, that's right. I am saying I was wrong about this series. I really freaking disliked ACOTAR. Okay, A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the first book. I even made a whole rant video about it because it was just so painfully awful. The writing was so bad. Feyre was such a dumb MC. I still don't think it's an incredible book. How this book was written by the same author, I have no idea. A Court of Mist and Fury is the second book in ACOTAR, and the world building is lush. The characters are so deep. The history of Fae, of the human world, is so complex, intricate, long, like centuries worth of memories and entanglements, and it was so beautiful. Not to mention the themes about being broken and healing and still finding love in the midst of that. I loved it. It is like the epitome of romantasy, which I realized I loved due to another book. I realized that romantasy is everything to me. I picked it because the writing was also wonderful. As I was reading this book, I was just so shocked by her pacing. I didn't feel like it was too slow or super fast. Feyre's healing, I freaking loved her journey, because a lot of times authors either fast forward or it's just super slow and nothing's happening, and Feyre's pace just felt so real to me. Her struggle, it wasn't like any one moment that defined her sudden healing, like I'm perfect now. Really, there were only two things I liked in ACOTAR: the world building and Rhysand. I felt like they were the most developed things in this book, but they didn't really get a lot of screen time, so to say. But those two elements were so dominant in the second book. I just freaking loved it. I also didn't expect to cry. During this book, Rhysand made me cry, and I can finally see why this is considered a top fantasy book of all time, because I freaking loved it. So again, the fact that it's in my favorite genre, fantasy, the rich world building, the deep characters, the lush history in there, the writing, the pacing, all of that was so stunning. That's why I think this is my favorite read so far of 2023. I cannot believe I'm saying that. Cringe. Second question. What is the best sequel you've read so far in 2023? Technically, I read this in 2022 because I received the ARC, but it was released in 2023, and that has to be Immortality by Dana Schwartz. That sequel is amazing. I feel like it's really hard to love a sequel more than the first book. The first book is Anatomy, which focuses on a girl in the 1800s in Edinburgh who wants to be a surgeon, and there's just no way because she's a girl in the 1800s in Edinburgh. It's an interesting read. You don't realize what you're fully reading until the end of the book with that twist, and we have so many questions left unanswered that we get in the sequel. But not only did Dana Schwartz answer all those questions, she also created a whole new story. It was so good. I was like split between two different ships and themes. My favorite thing about this sequel is probably the theme around Hazel Sinnott, or MC. She's a woman who loves her career and she feels so fulfilled in it, but there are moments where she feels pangs of solitude or isolation because she's a fierce, intelligent, independent, driven woman, and that intimidates a lot of people and a lot of men, and that isolates her. And I feel like I've seen that in my life, and I've seen that in other powerful women around me, because most of my friends are fierce, wonderful women. To find an equal, to find community that really embraces you and doesn't tell you to tone it down or be more quiet or go behind the scenes can be really difficult. Again, I love the sequel more than the first book, so that's saying a lot. What's a new release you haven't read yet but want to? I'm actually really surprised by my own answer. It's actually Happy Place by Emily Henry. I tried reading an Emily Henry book a while back when I tried Book Lovers, and I just couldn't stand the MC and the narrator, so I stopped. Happy Place just sounded really good. Ever since trying the romance genre and doing that romance challenge for this channel, I thought I really should go for Emily Henry because I know she's an iconic romance author, and it just sounded like a really wholesome book, and it made people cry. And again, if the book makes me cry, 5 stars, baby. 5 stars. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have 2, okay? The first one is Iron Flame, which is the sequel to Fourth Wing, which I did a whole vlog on it and I did a whole honest review. Clearly, I really loved it. The second one is Sunbearers number 2. The Sunbearer Trials is so dear to my heart. It just has all the representation I would have loved as a young reader. I still am a young reader, but you know what I mean. And that book made me cry. Seeing like the candy I loved as a kid in a YA fantasy book was just overwhelming. I cannot thank Aiden Thomas enough for that, and I did thank them in person for that, and that was such a genuine, real moment for me to say thank you for making characters like me that have friends that look like me and look like my cousins, and candy that I grew up with in my childhood. It was just beautiful. We don't even have a title for it yet, but I did see on Aiden Thomas's Instagram that they are in final edits. It's been a thing for a while now, so I hope we get a title soon. Hope I can review this book because I adore the Sunbearer Trials, and it was actually my top 2022 release and book. What was your biggest disappointment? I have to say it was actually The Whispering Dark. I had such a stunning cover for it, and I know there are beautiful books that don't have the best writing or the best plot lines, just like there are not like kind of ugly books that have really amazing plots, but The Whispering Dark just sounded so good. Dark academia sounded like this mysterious plot line, and it was promoted as a book for people that love the Raven Boys or Ninth House. It was none of those things. It was so bad. I wasn't the only reviewer that was really confused by the plot line, saw these plot holes, felt really uncomfortable with some things that happened in the book that just didn't feel right. So it was a really big disappointment because I was really excited about reading a true only dark academia book. What was your biggest surprise? So this is where I wanted to say A Court of Mist and Fury, because it really was my biggest surprise. I was going into it like, okay, people said I'm gonna really like it, but people also said I would like the last 20% of ACOTAR, and that was still ridiculous. Like the dialogue, the way of thinking was just ridiculous. But this ain't a book rant, so we're just gonna move on. Court of Mist and Fury is my biggest surprise for all of the reasons I said earlier. I didn't expect to love it so much. It really won my heart over, and it pulled real emotions out of me. A favorite new author, oh my gosh, I have to give this to Rebecca Ross. Her writing is so freaking beautiful. She's so lyrical and poetic, but it's like every line is so thoughtful, and it didn't feel like there were just filler sentences in there or something, or like I could just space out. It was gorgeous. I read Divine Rivals by her this year, and it was such a beautiful book. Even though the plot was really basic, her writing took it to a whole other level, and I loved her writing so much that now I placed a hold on A River Enchanted, and I'm also gonna see what other books she's written because I just really want to read more of Rebecca Ross. If I could write even a fraction like her, I would be so freaking happy. Your newest fictional crush. I have to give this to Zayden Zaddy Ryerson. He is in Fourth Wing, and I have not had a fictional crush, like a new fictional crush, in a very long time. Like I seriously can't tell you the last time, you know, where I just wholeheartedly I'm like, I wish I could get you out of the book and just like keep you, you know. I freaking love how he treats our MC, our female love interest, as an equal, encourages her, is protective of her, but doesn't hinder her. I just love that so much. He's so intelligent, not to mention he's so attractive the way he protects his people. He is so gifted and powerful and intelligent, and just, I love him, okay? And that's probably why I ended up liking Rhysand so much. I feel like in general, I would just want like an Illyrian warrior man, because super intelligent, protectors, just loved all of the boys. I'm talking about Azriel, Cassian, Rhysand. Yeah, I just feel like having an emotionally intelligent alpha male is thing. No high standards at all, right? For that pairing, I think I have a type. Newest favorite character. I'm gonna go with the Bat Boys on this, which would be Azriel, Cassian, and Rhysand. Specifically though, I have the softest spot for Azriel. I love him so much. I don't know why. Is it like the middle school emo in me that's like, oh, he's mysterious and brooding, and, you know, but not in an annoying way. He like sincerely has some part of him that needs healing. I don't know, because we don't really know much about Azriel. At least I don't know yet, and everything he's been through, and I just want to hug him and make sure he knows his worth, but I also admire him as a character, as a warrior so freaking much, and the way he will die to protect the people he loves, and his power is just so freaking cool. I just think it's so cool that Rhysand happens to be best friends with the greatest Illyrian warriors of all time. I saw a friend wearing a shirt that said Bat Boys on it. I was like, oh, I want merch so bad now. I want like Bat Boys, Illyrian, Valaris merch so bad now. A book that made you cry. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Oh my gosh. I finished that book at like 2 a.m. in my room, and I started sobbing so hard. I could not go to sleep because I was so sad. I just wanted a hug, and I was like, I live alone. I try not to worry loved ones so much anymore because I've texted them before like, I'm so sad or something really bad happened, and they get so worried, and then I'm like, yeah, this character in a book, blah blah blah, and they get so upset with me because they're like, Joanna, like you're talking like a real life thing, and I got so worried, and it's just a freaking book. When I tell people like, hey, we can learn a lot of lessons through this book, especially if you're in your 20s going on to your 30s, anyone who read this book understood exactly what I was talking about. Like, and I was sobbing and I was ugly crying. A book that made you happy. I picked Fourth Wing for this one. And again, I'm sorry if I'm repeating some of the books, but I feel like the character ones don't count. Fourth Wing made me so happy because it made my little teenage heart so happy. If you're a person that grew up loving The Hunger Games, Twilight, Divergent, Eragon, this book is for you. Like, that's what I keep saying. And I haven't seen elements like this in a very long time, like a war academy, fantasy, strong MC. I freaking loved it, and it made me so happy. And that's what I mean, like Fourth Wing made me happy because I haven't seen these elements in so long, and it just made my little heart so happy. I definitely found a fantasy series that I love so much, and that's why I can't wait for the sequel, Iron Flame. And the fact that we don't even have to wait that long. Yes, Rebecca Yarros, I am so happy that you decided to do this because we could not wait 2 more years plus for the sequel. The most beautiful book you've bought so far or received. I have to go with Divine Rivals. It was in my Owl Crate last month. I did a whole unboxing video on that. I don't really see pink edges very often. It's not that I love pink. I just love having a variety of covers and edges on my shelf, and so having pink edges is really cool too. Favorite book to screen adaptation. I haven't seen too many of them, but from the ones I have seen, I have to say Daisy Jones and the Six was really amazing. I plan to do a whole video around that as well, but I really love the book, and the TV show was really good. I just have one issue with it, but I feel like I'm kind of willing to let it slide. But for the most part, they really went from book to screen, page by page. It was actually really incredible the way they did that, and to see all the songs from the book come to life, it was freaking amazing. And the last question, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? A lot. I'm just gonna go with a lot. Now that I know I like Sarah J. Maas and I also like Rebecca Ross, I want to continue reading works they've done from the past and works that they will continue to do. And I know the Sarah J. Maas world is really big, and I think I'm gonna start with Throne of Glass next to see how that goes, and all the anticipated releases I have, and I want to keep exploring new genres like I promised I would for all of you. So I have been reading more thrillers. I will continue more new adult fantasy like Fourth Wing, and I actually have some good news there. My TBR is down to 20 something, and I'm really proud of that. So for the first time ever, I am way more open to suggestions of fantasy books that people really love, and sci-fi that they're like, hey, you really need to read this, because I'm finishing my list. I was going through it like, okay, what other holds do I need to place at the library? And I was going through my want to read list on Goodreads, and I realized I don't really have that many holds left. Like, if there's something you want to recommend to me that's more in that fantasy genre, I am totally open. Please let me know down in the comments below, or feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm so happy I was able to share these updates, the mid-year freakout tag. I so enjoyed hanging out with you all. Make sure you hit like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.